Just get over it. Has anyone ever said that to you about your past? Maybe you have been said it to yourself. You tell yourself it's time to move on, but you're still overreacting to small things, still struggling in your relationships, still feeling constantly on edge, and you are left wondering, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just let this go? Here's the truth. There's a scientific reason you can't just get over your childhood trauma. It's not a choice, it's neuroscience. This isn't about willpower or needing to be stronger. The fact is, your brain's alarm system just was fundamentally rewired to help you survive. We're just going to talk about this. We're going to break down how exactly what happened and why understanding this is the first step towards your finally feeling in control of your own life. You know, we have two brains, the survival brain and the learning brain. To get why just getting over isn't a real option, we have to look at how brain is built. Think of it like a building, a house from the ground up. You have to build the foundation before you can put it the walls and the roof. Your brain develops the same way, from the bottom up. The first parts to come online are the lower. The more primitive areas like brainstem, these parts handle your basic survival breathing, heart rate, and instant fight, flight, or freezing response. Only after the foundation is solid does the brain start building the upper floors, the cortex, which handles all the fancy stuff like logic, emotional control, and learning. When a child grows up in a safe and predictable home, their brain can build a strong foundation and then focus its energy on constructing those upper levels. The brain gets to be in learning mode, free to work on social skills, creativity, and everything else. But when a child experiences chronic trauma, things like neglect, abuse, or constant chaos at home, their brain is forced to divert all its resources to one mission: survival. It's not focused on learning, it's focused on staying safe. When the brain is stuck in the state of high alert, it's called toxic stress. The brain gets locked in survival mode. Think about it. If a city is under constant threat, does it spend its budget on libraries and parks, or does it build thicker walls and train more soldiers? The traumatized brain is that city. It pours all the resources into defense, strengthening the parts that detach the city and, defends the city. Rational thinking are left underdeveloped. This isn't a flaw, it's an adaptation. Your brain did the thing that should do. So what does rewiring actually look like? Let's take a quick tour of three key parts of brain that trauma dramatically reshapes. First up is the amygdala. The amygdala is your brain's smoke detector. Its whole job is to scan of danger and sound the alarm. In a healthy brain, that alarm goes off when there's no actually fire. But in brain shaped by trauma, the amygdala becomes hyperactive. It's like a smoke detector that starts screaming every time you make toast. It starts seeing danger everywhere, which is why survivors of trauma often feel anxious or on edge. Their internal alarm system is stuck on the on position. Next, there's the hippocampus. This is the brain's librarian. It's supposed to neatly file away your memories and more importantly, tell the difference between the past and the present. Chronic stress can actually cause the hippocampus to shrink. When that happens, traumatic memories don't get filed away under the past events. They stay, fragmented, loose, and feel like they're happening right now. This is why a simple smell of a sound can trigger a vivid flashback, making your body feel like the trauma is happening all over again. Finally, we have the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. This is the CEO of your brain, located right behind your forehead. It's in the charge of rational thoughts, impulse control, and calming the amygdala down when it freaks out. When the amygdala's alarm goes off, the PFC is supposed to step in and say, "Hey, relax, dude. It's just toast. We are safe." But here's the catch. When the amygdala is constantly screaming danger, it hijacks the brain. It cuts the phone lines to the prefrontal cortex. In a brain wired by trauma, the PFC becomes underactive and has a weaker connection to amygdala. This means your thinking brain has a really hard time talking to your emotional brain off the edge. You can't just think your way out of trauma response because the part of your brain that does the logical thinking has been taken offline. And this isn't just a psychological theory, it's a physical reality. Neuroimaging studies show that adults who went through childhood trauma can have measurably smaller brain volumes in the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus. It's not all in your head, it's in the structure of your brain. You know, we have echo of the trauma in our adulthood. This rewiring isn't just a bunch of science trivia, it has huge real-world consequences that can last for decades. It explains so many of the painful struggles that adult survivors deal with every day. Struggling with, relationships. With a smoke detector that always going off, you might constantly scan your partner's face or anger or rejection. A neutral comment can feel like an attack. It's incredibly hard to build trust when your own brain is telling you that getting close to someone is a threat. Emotional roller coasters and numbness. Since the PFC has a hard time regulating your emotions, you might, fly into rage over something small, or get hit by a wave of shame that comes out of nowhere. On the flip side, someone said, or some people feel just numb. The system gets so overwhelmed that it just shuts down in a freeze spot. Chronic health issues. The famous Adverse Childhood Experiences ACE studies discovered a stunningly direct link between childhood trauma and a series of adult health problems. When your stress response is always on, your body is flooded with the stress hormone cortisol. Over the time, that leads to chronic inflammation, which can contribute to everything from heart disease and autoimmune disorders to clinical depression. Brain fog and, inability to focus. When your brain is spending most of its energy scanning for invisible threats, there isn't much left over for other things. This can show up as brain fog. Trouble finishing projects or spotty memories. It's not laziness, your brain just busy with job it thinks far more important, keeping you alive. That relentless inner critic. Many survivors have harsh inner critic that never lets up. The voice of shame and self-blame is often the brain's desperate attempt to make sense of chaotic past. For a child, believing I'm bad can feel safer than accepting the terrifying reality that the people who are supposed to protect you are dangerous. That voice then becomes permanent, internalized echo of the environment you grew up in. If you are hearing this and starting to see your own life through these lines, consider just subscribing. I know my English is not good. I know that this isn't my native language, but I gotta do what I gotta do. So thank you for your understanding. Let's continue. So if you can't just get over it, what is alternative? The goal isn't just erase the past, it's to help your brain finally learn the past is over and that you are safe now. Healing isn't about willpower, it's about rewiring, and thanks to something called neuroplasticity, we know for a fact that brain can and does change over through our lives. Here is where to start. First, understanding and compassion. This is the step you're taking right now. Just understanding the science behind your struggle in a game changer. Lets you shift from blaming yourself to having compassion for yourself. The reaction aren't a sign that you are broken. You're a sign that your brain successfully adapted to survive an impossible situation. It's not your fault. Secondly, calm the alarm system. The first priority in healing is to turn down the volume on the overreacting amygdala and teach your nervous system that safely actually feels like. This is bottom-up work, meaning you start with the body, not the mind. Things like deep belly breathing, mindfulness, yoga, or thumping therapies are just designed to regulate your body's stress response. They send signals up to your brain that say, "We are safe, man." This slowly recalibrates that faulty smoke detector. Process the memories, first step. Once your nervous system is a little more stable, you can start helping out the hippocampus, the librarian. The goal here is help your brain properly away those traumatic memories. Therapy is designed specifically for the trauma, like EMDR or trauma-focused CBCT are amazing for this. They help you process the memories without being re-traumatized, which finally allows the hippocampus to stamp them as in the past. You gotta strengthen the CO. The fourth step is, as you do this work, you automatically start to strengthen your prefrontal cortex. With a calmer amygdala, the PFC gets to start online more often. This gives you more conscious choice to how you respond to life. Instead of being stuck in those automatic trauma-based reactions, you'll literally build a stronger connection between your thinking brain and your emotional brain. You gotta know that telling someone to just get over it, childhood trauma, isn't just unhelpful, it's sinfully, wrong. It completely ignores the real physical changes that happen in the brain when a child has to grow up in a state of threat. You can't just talk your way out of a nervous system that has been wired for survival, but you absolutely can create new experiences of safety that allows that wiring to change. Healing isn't about forgetting what happened to you, it's about your body and your brain finally learning on a deep level that the threat is gone. It's about the rewriting and influence on the past that you are no longer a person of. Your past is a part of your story, but with the right understanding and tools, it does not have to be your entire script. Thank you for listening.